Well, we have the Sameet Chauhan now to talk to us about his views and his stock talk picks. Sameet, on the index around 10,600, it's expiry in 2 days. Would there be a trade, or the risk reward doesn't seem too favorable at this point of time?
Hi, morning. To be honest, we would avoid, recently we saw recent recovery from the lower levels of 10,100 and 10,200 in a span of 3 weeks. So in our mind, we had a target of say 10,550, 10,600. So those targets have already been made, and Nifty is now trading around its important hurdle of 10,640. Yesterday also we saw some kind of profit booking precisely after tasting those levels. So at this juncture, we expect Nifty to consolidate a bit, wherein 10,495, 10,500 would act as a very strong support, and on the higher side 10,640 would act as a very strong resistance. So we expect Nifty to gyrate within this 150 points band, but one should concentrate more on individual stocks that are clearly providing better trading opportunities.
Sameet, in terms of recommendations, what are you recommending our viewers for expecting or already witnessing a price volume breakout?
Pharma space, the entire pharma space is showing early signs of bottoming out, and this is what we have been anticipating since last 1.5 months. Sun Pharma, Glenmark, Bocard, these were our preferred bets since last 1.5 months. But at this juncture, if I have to take a particular stock with a better risk to reward ratio, then I would certainly go with Glenmark Pharma, which has broken out from its major hurdle. So we expect continuation of this rally. One can go long with a stop loss of 576, and we have a target of 621. Our other buy would be on MCX. The stock has already formed strong base around 700, 720, and from there we have already seen a decent recovery. From here on, we expect this stock to surpass 800 mark quite soon. So our target would be around 834. One can go long with a stop loss of 778.
Sameet, how does Biocon look this morning? Because there's been a pretty sharp up move from where the stock opened up in morning trade. We're up nearly 3.5% of the stock. Further up move could be expected, you think, on Biocon?
Yes, last week only we recommended this stock, as a disclosure to our clients around 630, 640, and that's the reason I did not recommend this stock just now. Because according to us, risk reward is not favorable, but those who have bought it at low level, they should certainly stay put. From here on, we could expect a decent move towards 670, 675 also. So one can now trail their stop losses somewhere around 640, which we believe now would act as a very strong support, and on the higher side, we could see continuation of this rally.
Right. Logistics stocks having a field day, Sameet. So Gati, Snowman, All Cargo, Aegis are all trading sharply higher this morning. Still an opportunity, or it's too late now?
Yes, I guess low-hanging fruit is already gone in this case, wherein Gati is the one stock that we closely track. And after a long consolidation, the stock has managed to surpass its recent hurdle with sizable volume. So as far as Gati is concerned, in case of any dip, probably toward 105 makes a better risk to reward ratio, but not at current level. Those who have bought it, they should certainly stay put, and in case of a dip around 105, one can go long, keep a stop loss below 100 rupees, and one can expect a decent move towards 118, 120.
Right. What are you doing on metals today, Sameet? I know there was no opportunity to short the counters, but in today's weakness over the next couple of days, would you expect these stocks to pull back and hence probably buy a Hindalco or a Vedanta or even a Nalco for that matter? Because, I mean, the risk now seems much lower at these levels, right?
See, honestly speaking, the entire metal space gave a massive recovery from lower levels, but we were not so convinced, and we avoided going long in the entire space. Now, today we are seeing a massive gap down opening. But we won't, look this opportunity as a buying opportunity, and we would avoid certainly going long at current level. As far as Hindalco is concerned, the stock we have been closely tracking since last couple of weeks. On the higher side now, 245, 250 would act as a very strong resistance. So in our sense, if I have to take any directional call in this metal names, we would certainly sell on any decent rally. So as far as Hindalco is concerned, in case of a pullback toward 245, we would interpret this as a good shorting opportunity.
Well, that's the short calls coming in on Hindalco. That's the view from Sameet Chauhan on some of those counters I mentioned. What are you doing with IT stocks? Healthy profit taking today was on the cards, especially after the kind of move we've seen across the board for IT names. KPIT has not done as much as its peers like NIT or Tata Elxsi. So in today's sort of down day of trade at 242, how does KPIT look? And of course, NIT Tech, Tata Elxsi, you can give me a view on that too, and Mindtree as well.
Yes, as far as the IT space is concerned, the heavyweight counters have already seen massive rally and they are now consolidating. Yesterday also we saw decent, profit taking in the names of TCS, Infosys. So these market names are seeing some kind of, profit taking. But at the same time, we are focusing more on mid or small size IT names. KPIT Tech certainly looks good, but not at current level, probably around 232, it makes a good risk reward. But if I have to pick any particular stock within this space, then Majesco is the one stock that we have been recommending since last couple of weeks from the levels of 530, and current level also we expect this stock has a potential to move towards 600. So any minor dip probably towards 560 would be a good buying opportunity in case of Majesco. Target would be around 600, and one can keep a stop loss somewhere around 540. Apart from this, Sonata Software is the one stock that we have been liking, and on Friday also we have already recommended this stock. Minor probably dip toward 355 makes a good risk reward. One can expect a decent move toward 370 in Sonata Software.
Right, that's the view coming in on Sonata Software, and a couple of IT counters that Sameet has mentioned. Sameet, Yes Bank and ICICI Bank are doing well, and Bank Nifty is holding the 25,000 mark. For expiry, would there be a trade on any of the stocks I mentioned, and also on Bank Nifty?
See, as far as Yes Bank is concerned, this stock has been consolidating of late, and 320 has been acting as a very strong resistance, and today we are seeing a decisive breakout. And in option segment also, 320 call strike is clearly seeing some kind of unwinding. So one can trade in this counter. 320 call option, which is trading around 8.59 rupees, certainly looks good, and from here on we could expect a decent appreciation. So I would rather recommend going long in 320 call. Stop loss around 5 rupees, and I would expect a decent appreciation probably towards 16. As far as the Bank Nifty is concerned, 24,800 seems to be very strong support, and on the higher side 25,500 seems to be a very strong resistance. So we would expect consolidation to continue in Bank Nifty as well, wherein on the higher side you could see some kind of profit booking happening around 25,500, and on the low side 24,800 would be seen as a key support level.
Right, so stay with us. We'll take a break. We'll come back and continue talking about top trades for the day. So stay tuned. Sameet, how does Apollo Tyres look? I mean, it made those highs of 300, and it's been under pressure on probably back of rising commodity or crude prices. At 290, it's struggling to break out, right?
Yes, clearly when we saw the stock surpassing 300 and around 305, we saw decent profit booking happening. It was a clear sign of false breakout, and after that we did see some kind of extended profit booking. So at this juncture we expect this stock to consolidate a bit, wherein on the higher side 300, 305 would act as a very strong resistance. 305 technically seems to be a very strong resistance. We could see converging of one rising trend line somewhere around 304, 305, and from there we saw decent profit booking. So we expect consolidation to continue, wherein on the higher side 300, 305 would act as a very strong resistance, and on the low side 285, 280 would be seen as important support levels.
Do you recommend the stock to be bought?
Not at current level. In case if the stock gives a decent dip toward 280, that would be a good buying opportunity.
Zenza Technology is up nearly 5%. I think this has got to do with some numbers euphoria that that we're seeing, and Delta Corp as well is reacting to its earnings and GNFC. Sameet, these three counters that I mentioned, is there a trading opportunity here? How do these look on the charts?
Among this, Delta certainly looks quite encouraging. Recently, we've already seen a decent recovery from low levels of 245, 250, and it is now trading around its important resistance zone. So, as a trader, I would rather wait for a breakout to happen since it is trading around its strong resistance of 300. So, once this stock surpasses 300, then we could see a decent move towards 320, 325 as well. So I would wait for a breakout to happen. If that happens, then one can keep a stop loss below 290, which is likely to act as a very strong support. And on the higher side, as I said, once it surpasses 300, we could see a decent move toward 320, 325 as well.
Right, that's the view coming in. A couple of those earnings movers in trade this morning. Sameer, not for the day, not for the next couple of days maybe. Does the Infi look like a stock that will start playing catch up, because it's trading at a 30% discount to TCS, and in the last decade, whenever that's happened, you've seen Infosys play catch up soon after. At these levels, how compelling is this stock looking for the next couple of months maybe?
See, if I have to take any bet in this counter now, then I would rather wait for a breakout to happen. Since it is trading around its major, make or break level, which is 1200. 1200 according to us seems to be very strong resistance, and in case if it manages to surpass this level, then we could see a massive rally probably toward 1350, 1400 as well. So as far as Infosys is concerned, clearly 1200 seems to be a very strong resistance. I don't want to anticipate breakout happening from this important support resistance level. So I would rather wait for a confirmation. If that happens, then I would certainly go long. As I said, in that case, we could see a decent move toward 1350 or 1400 as well.
How does M&M look after a big move yesterday? There have been a few brokerage upgrades, so the stock is ignoring that for now. At 830, would you buy M&M? And if yes, what would be your price target?
I won't buy, but if I'm already holding it, then I would certainly hold. From here on, the upward trajectory is likely to continue, wherein in the near term I would see levels of say 845, 850. See, as a fresh trader, I don't see any risk to reward ratio at current level. So I would rather wait. If the stock gives a decent dip toward 815, then that makes a good buying opportunity. But as of now, if I'm holding it, I would certainly keep holding it for a target of 845, 850.
Sameet, Arvind, Raymond and Bombay Dyeing and even Bombay Burma, what is the trade on these textile majors?
From this, Arvind certainly looks good, and last week also we had recommended it somewhere around 418. However, price-wise it did not do anything well. It is hovering somewhere around 424. But soon we expect this stock to break out from near-term hurdle of say 430. So we would expect Arvind to surpass this level quite soon and move towards 440, 442. So within this space, Arvind certainly looks good at current level, and in case of any dip toward 418, that makes a good risk reward. So one can go long with a strict stop loss somewhere around 410.
What about some of these OMCs? Is there an opportunity to short these counters?
No, I think all these OMCs have already seen a massive correction in the recent past. So at this juncture, as a contra trader, I would rather go long in BPCL, which is trading around 385, 370 according to us, seems to be a very strong support at least in the near term, and from here on we could expect a decent relief rally towards 400, 415. So as a contra trader, I would go long. As a directional trader, I would rather wait for the stock to give a decent up move probably towards 400, 405.
What about consumption names, ITC, HUL, even a Colgate Palmolive for that matter? How are these looking? Because I'm assuming the next couple of weeks or months could see leadership being maintained by some of these consumption names.
Yes, ITC certainly looks good. Last week this stock gave a decisive breakout from a near-term hurdle of 265, and since last couple of days it's been consolidating, but probably the stock is clearly gearing up for a decent move beyond 280. So from here on, if I see a minor dip probably toward 272, then I would certainly go long, and I would anticipate this stock surpassing 280 quite soon. So one can go long in ITC. HUL, yes, it has been continuing its upward trajectory, but I don't see any major trade setup at current level. So within these two names, I would certainly go for ITC.
Well, ITC is a stock that Samit is currently recommending. Anything else, Ashish? We've spoken about quite a few counters, but anything else that's on top of your mind that you want to tell our viewers right now?
See, Vocard is the one stock. I've already said that, pharma as a whole, we see a decent move coming in the entire pharma space. So Vocard is the one stock that is clearly poised for a decent move. In last couple of days, we have already seen a good move, but this stock is clearly poised for a decent up move, probably towards 863. So one can go long in Vocard at current level, keep a stop loss below 790, and we would expect a decent move.
Well, thanks for that, Samit. Always good talking to you. With that, we wrap up this edition of F&O Spotlight. Thanks for watching.